Are you? How are you? Lovely to see you all again today. So, let's take a look at where we left off. Last week I left you with the Three of Swords. So, Three of Swords, just going through that with you. Sorry, that's my phone. Again, I've had some technical issues. Don't know why. My software rebooted itself last night, and as a result, I can't get cameras to do what cameras should be doing. So, hello. I'm afraid this morning I don't seem to be able to get your comments, but I am going to try. So, if you could just bear with me and hang in there. Let's see if I can get some of these comments coming up. Just takes a moment. Right. So, have you all been okay? Is everybody well? Is everything going the way that it should? I hope so. Hope you're not struggling with any of this, by the way. It's important that you keep it nice and simple. Okay? Nice and simple. Just give me a moment and see if I can get these comments to actually come up for us here. It's a shame if I can't, but it is what it is. Right. Let's have a look. It's just bouncing up and down. So I'm probably not going to see your comments until later, but good morning and hello. And I can see that there's quite a few of you watching. My apologies that I can't get the comments up. In fact, it's just one of those things, okay? It's just bouncing up and down like I'm not playing ball with you. And that's exactly what it's doing, bouncing up and down. So sorry about that. I do hope that everybody can actually see what's going on, and so we're going to get started. So we're going to jump right in. I've got 5 people watching at the moment, and those of you that want to watch it later, that's lovely. As I said, sorry, I don't think the comments are actually coming up. Something's happening behind my screen now. It might be slow. We'll just see. Okay, right. So, Four of Swords. What's going on with the Four of Swords? Well, it's a card of stillness, and remember again that all the swords is very much along the lines of the mental capacity that we all actually need to think before we do things. And in this case, that's exactly what this is asking you to do, or the person that's having the reading, of course. To put your strength in reserve, to go for a period of rest. It's a time of doing nothing, time of contemplation, laying still, allowing yourself to recoup, to rebuild, to be in a place and a space that allows you categorically some downtime, some rest time, and to do nothing. So if you are in a place or in a space where you get this card, do nothing, just hang on, just wait. You need to have some time out. It's a card sometimes of exile. It does come up here as if one feels lonely, but I would look at it more that you are alone. And I can hear all these comments kind of coming in, and I'm really sorry, but I can't get any of them. All I can hear is the clicking of what's going on. Just so annoying. Sorry, folks. I'm sure you can hear the clicking too. So the period of time, the period of sanctuary, okay, very much lie down, recover, recoup, don't take any action, do nothing, okay? It's a time of retreat, it's a time of isolation, time of stillness, solitude, bed rest. And if you look at her, you can kind of see that there's somebody just laying on what looks like, a tomb, a mortuary slab, just laying there and waiting and doing nothing, okay? Probably feeling, above them is these 3 swords. Those 3 swords is the 3 of Swords that we did last week. It's the heartbreaks from the past. So what's coming? Again, it's like now you need to recover after difficult times. So if I say to you that, look underneath and you'll see there's an extra sword lying below the fellow that's on his slab. That's his next idea. But you mustn't move and go for your next idea because you need time to recover from what you've just been through. Okay? Everybody needs time to recharge their batteries, and that's really what this card is all about: a period of rest, a period of time to do nothing. Just having a quick look to see if I can, in actual fact, get you in your comments through coming through this side. No, it's not letting me. I'm really sorry, folks. It is what it is. So we just have to sort of just say that there's no comments today. But I'm sorry about that. As I said, as soon as you go installing new software, sometimes it just freezes a little bit and doesn't bring things in at the right time. Okay, it's about an hour and a half last night doing the same sort of thing. So let's move on to the next one. Okay, and Five of Swords. Difficult. 5 in tarot is always to do with struggling, and it's a period of time of struggles. Okay, and if you look there, that person is probably sort of feeling alone, feeling bewildered, feeling sort of that people have walked away. Maybe there's disappointments, maybe there's hurts, maybe there's slights, maybe it's been arguments. 5 in tarot, whichever suit it is, whether it's the cups or the swords or the wands or the pentacles, it's a time of struggling. It's really a time of saying, I'm finding this tricky, okay? And that trickiness is you've got to just battle on through. And it is a mock battle. Now remember here, this is to do with swords. The swords, it's all about what's going on up here, what you're thinking. It's not your feelings, it's not your actions, and it's not, something of a product. So this is really to do with one's thinking, and perhaps, in a place of struggling. Gosh, this feels awful. Can't stop thinking about it. This is happening, that's happening. All these things going on that cause you to actually think and feel that you are being put upon, okay? You're thinking about arguments, you're thinking about what's been said, is this person bullying you? Do I need to watch my back? It's all for your careful consideration. So it's a time of actually saying it's a struggle, and it will feel like a mock battlefield. It's also, sometimes people can mess with your head. It's as simple as that, They say things, and oh gosh, that's really made me think this, and I'm not sure, and what does this mean? All this kind of thing. It's gossip. It's a card of people gossiping, or tittle-tattling, or tit-for-tat. It's not in harmony, that's for sure, okay? And, words, oh, I never said that, you took it out of context. And I'm thinking, what's going on? I'm feeling this, and I'm thinking this, and I'm thinking that things aren't great. But we all have difficult times. We all have people that sometimes, do get in our head and do make us feel that we're being bullied, or that they're gossiping or talking behind our back. And, it's mental abuse sometimes. Obviously, it would depend which card goes with it and where it comes up in the spread as per normal, okay? So this could come up as in around others. It could come up as in what's happened in the past. Could be what is going on now, or what the basis of your reading is about, because someone's messed with your head. Simple as that. So it's also a card of addiction. Again, what do I mean? Okay, if you see things like the devil, temptation to be involved in gossips, and temptation as in to be around people that are bullies or puppeteers or puppet masters, these kind of things. It's definitely a difficult time. It's not a nice time when you get the 5 of Swords, but that can also come up in a previous position, something that's already happened. It's not always what's coming. Sometimes you're warned as in a future position that if you don't get things on track, you could end up with this. So it's not always a case of what will happen. It can be warnings, okay? And yeah, it's a battlefield. It's not easy, mental abuse, it's unethical. But we're all capable of doing that. Don't think we're all perfect. We're all capable of going, oh, no, I don't like what they've said, and I want to give them a piece of my mind, and I want to actually have a go at them. Keep away from it if you can, and allow yourself to actually protect yourself and go, sticks and stones may hurt my bones, but names will never hurt me. And the other thing is, you need to keep away from the addiction of people that want to keep doing this, to keep unsettling, to keep messing with your head. I would actually say, there's nothing tangible about this card. Nothing nobody's really absolutely hurting you. What they're doing is they're hurting your thoughts, and that can actually, have an impact upon your well-being, your mental well-being, your emotional well-being, even in the actions of, oh, I don't want to upset them, or, I think they're going to give me a hard time, so I'm not going to push. Do what you have to do, okay? It's important, all right? So let's move on from that one. It does depend what that comes up with, but note all fives are struggles, okay? It's at that midway point of going from 1 to 10, where you're midway, and things now are starting to become tricky, Other people are getting involved, and what does that do? Does it help? Does it cause you to actually deal with them? This could, of course, come up for you. We're all capable of being argumentative and, manipulating and playing some mind games with people, or, tittle-tattle or gossiping. But, be aware. Okay, so sorry about not being able to get your comments. Six of Swords, much better energy. As I've said before, the Swords family are a little bit on the heavy side because it's all about the thought process, and we have to think things through, and that can actually be exhausting. Trying to think of a solution, trying to think of a way around things, trying to negotiate, trying to actually work out what someone else wants, what someone else is feeling, what they're doing, those kind of things. So Six of Swords is lovely. If you look, we're looking at a ferry or a boat, okay? And there is a man that is doing the work to make sure that these people move from what looks like those wavy waters, troubled waters, that you see to the right where the punt is. It's got his stick in the water. And that shows, you're coming away from troubled times. And if you look at where they're going, you've got a smooth glide going forwards across the water there. So that smooth glide as you go across the water is, the symbology of that is, somebody is helping get you away from those troubled waters and leading you to smoother times. Now, if you look, you see two characters huddled together in that boat that represent you. Somebody's giving you a break, somebody's taking you there, somebody's helping you. This is progress, and they are the ones that are taxiing you, if you like, away from the difficulties. And in a real relationship, it's really looking here as if they're the passengers and that's the ferryman. Probably not related, could be, but look at it, that's somebody that possibly has no idea of the impact that they're going to have by helping you in such a way, moving you from the war zone by just jumping on the ferry and getting you out of there, and they've no idea that they've impacted your life in such a way. Yeah, you may have paid your fare, here's your money, thank you very much. You've no idea what you've done for me. Perhaps not. Sometimes it's meant to be like that, just because, okay? So it's a great card. And don't try and sort of think, oh gosh, that person did this for me, I've got to pay them back. It doesn't work like that. Sometimes it's your time. So after, maybe the Three of Swords, a history of heartbreak and the difficulties of recouping and rebalancing, and then finding what battles with other people, you need to be able to say, coming out of this. So it's a card of progress, going into calmer times. And third party coming in like the ferryman to help you. Do remember that the swords are all linked to the air family, which I put right at the beginning of the slides. Okay, so that is Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. All right, so this is all really significant to the air family, and it's how the mind is working, how it's viewing reality, what it's going to say, what ideas are coming, and thinking things through. It's also a card, in this case, Six of Swords, of allowing someone else to take over. Okay, just like that phone. I'm just going to sit here like this while you just move me from this war zone behind me into this lovely land. And if you look in that card, you can see land ahead, and growth is signified by the trees. The green, by the way, in tarot and intuitively, the symbology of that is the heart chakra, and it means unconditional love and support from the universe. You know, you are being looked after. Just moving my microphone a little bit closer, making sure that everybody can hear me. It might actually turn that up a tap too. So just bear with me. Okay. Have a boot. Okay. So very much a case of everything going smoothly now. A passage away from troubled waters, troubled times, and you know, it doesn't always have to be that we're in a place and a space of feeling that we've got to repay that person. Just allow it to happen. You know, we all need a little bit of help, and the person that's best to help you will come in. Okay, so it's about allowing someone else to take over and moving away. Also, as you see, it is moving away. It can be going on journeys. You know, don't forget that, because you've got the significance of moving from the dispatch of A to B. So sometimes if this comes up, it might be nothing to do with what we just talked about. With the other cards going on, you can actually see, gosh, you know, this person's actually physically going somewhere. All right, it's the Chariots next to it, that's it, and you know, various things in the spread in certain places would tell you that that's what's going on. Weaving it all together, folks, is, you know, it's fabulous, but it's knowing how to do that, isn't it? It really is. So if you just get some basics, you can turn around and go, right, I've got this. I'm not sure that that applies because I'm trying to knit it all together. So I'll look at my list like this and work out, that makes sense. It's that plus that plus that plus that. It's like the alphabet. As you bring letters together, you build up words, sentences, and paragraphs, so that you are able to create communication that makes sense to those that can actually read it and understand it. So no different with the tarot. It's just putting everything together in different ways. Okay, so I really like the Six of Swords. I'm always pleased when that comes out for anybody, because it usually represents the fact that even if it's in a past position, it means they've had growth. Even if it's not coming for them and they've already had this, it's like they've had a period of growth, they've had a bit of help, everybody needs help. Okay? So our next card, Seven of Swords. Okay, here we get tricky again. So what have we got here? I hope you can see that this looks like somebody being sneaky. Okay, somebody that's kind of going, oh, you know, even the body language there, tiptoeing away, you know, I'm not really, you know, I'm not being seen, you know, I'm being sneaky, I'm trying not to be seen. So it can also represent the fact that somebody is changing direction, U-turning, okay? Think of U-turning. Look at how he's taking those swords. There's two left behind, so he might come back for those. Now, is he stealing them or is he moving them? Okay, so it can represent the fact that there's a dishonesty going on around this person. I didn't write it down as lies, but untruths, whatever you want to call it. Okay, having a sip of water. Cheers, everybody. So there's the need sometimes to actually change camp when you see this card. Go in a different direction. And a need to kind of maybe go in the back door. And what I mean by that is sometimes you've got to put yourself forwards, but not kind of push somebody out of the way in order to do it. You need to slip through the back door, almost like I'm going to see, I'm a fan and I want to see a pop star, and everybody's queuing at the front door. And they're all sort of waiting patiently. But I'm going to nip round the back. And when they've all gone and this pop star is leaving through the back entrance, they're going to come this way and they're going to find only me. And I'm going to have my moment one-to-one. I won't be sharing with everybody else. So that's an example of kind of going through the back door, as it were, and sneaking in. And, you've all been told to line up over there, but you're going, I'm not having any of that. I'm clever. So there is a cleverness to this. And there is an attitude to this of being, I'm going to get away with this. So it's going in a different direction, maybe away from the crowd, like I just explained. Can be a bit dishonest, can't it? I'm not doing as I'm told. Can be that somebody is lying. There's no real ethics to this. You also need to watch your back when this comes up, okay? It's important that you're actually kind of going, what? If you're going to play with fire, you might actually turn around and find somebody who's going, oi, what do you think you're doing then? So we're capable of that. Others are capable of that. It's also a card of don't give up, okay? Persevere. Again, he perhaps can't carry, all of the swords. So persevering by carrying the first 5 and then coming back for the other 2. And those tents in the background, I would look at that as changing camps, all those different tents are, that may be, the English department, the maths department, the science department, and I'm doing maths, but I want to switch to science now, or English, or whatever it happens to be. Think of it like that, trying to keep it a little bit simpler as an example of how you could U-turn and go, I started off doing that, but I found that while doing that, that's not what I want to do. I want to do this instead. And it was only by taking that first stand and that first decision that I realised that, I'm changing direction. And that takes a lot of strength and guts and courage to be able to change direction. So it's not a negative card. It can sometimes be where somebody says, they're lying to me, and you see that come out, oh yeah. Listen, are you looking at them? Are you looking at them in your spread? Are you looking at them as their star sign? Is it something they've actually done? Is it happening in their physical self? Is it what they're thinking? We can all think things. Doesn't mean we're capable of doing them. So be careful. Don't always leap to the worst conclusion. It's very easy for somebody to say, absolutely, that's what that means. It means a lot of things. And as I said, it's about bringing it all together and treading very carefully and looking at everything else that's in your spread. And most importantly, in my case, it's about using 2 cards. The major to give you the absolute what's going on, and the minor to tell you the surrounding influences that's going on with that major event in somebody's life. And who are we looking at when we do a spread? We're looking at the person having the reading, or if they asked us to look at someone else, in which case, how do you work all that out? So that comes much later in intermediate and advanced, which we're moving rapidly through these cards at the moment. And if you've missed anything, please go back, it's all recorded, and you can find it on YouTube and Facebook, and all the files are there for you to download, so you can pick up your notes and get them for yourself, just as they are on screen here. It can have a dishonesty towards it in this case, and sometimes it's known as the thief card, taking something that doesn't belong to you. That does look a bit in that card as if that's somebody that's sneaking in to steal something or take something. Who knows? Okay? You'll have to be the one that interprets that. But it's also a bit like ducking and diving, and I don't know if anybody that's watching this knows Fools and Horses. Del Boy, I think we all know somebody that's kind of, doing things that are just slightly on the side of not quite legal or not quite sort of ethical. These fell off the back of a lorry and I bought them off this man really cheaply and I'm going to sell them for a little bit of an extra markup so that I'm the middle person, but no, it's not strictly right. That kind of ducking and diving. Or it can be the kind of thing where you need to look where you're going, okay? And if you look at that, he's looking behind him. We're not seeing what's in front of him. He could be going smack into a brick wall, or walking right in front of a vehicle, or as the tarot is there, a moving sort of carriage or something like that, because it's olden days in this particular deck. Look where you're going, clumsy. There's a clumsiness to it, you think you're nimble, you think you're careful, and his whole body looks very agile, very dainty. But if you don't look where you're going, you are going to bump into things. Sorry folks, I don't know why I come online, my Mac always decides to give me a report of screen time. Don't even know what it means, so there we go. I'm going to have to try and get that to change to any day other than a Monday when we're doing tarot tuition. So there's a lot going on there today, and the sword family is very much about how we are in our mental capacity. And again, people say, well, how do I know if it's me? Or how do I know, what I mean is if you're reading for yourself, okay? Or you could be asking, what does so-and-so think about me? I work for my boss and I want to know what they think. You're looking at the reading and going, well, who's who here? Here's the person I'm reading for, and they've just asked me about their boss. It will all come out as in when we go into intermediate and advanced. But I'm really not able to cover that with you without you pairing up, or and we would need the comments working on that. We could even do it as a Zoom, which would be fabulous. That would really work. So instead of typing, we're able to actually put that together. Let me know your thoughts and your comments on that, because I'd really like to know who might be interested in going into intermediate and learning to work with pairs and learning to work with the basic spread. And any volunteers who would like the students who are in intermediate to actually read for them, please do leave your comments in the box below so that students get the chance to practice. So you can have free reading. With intermediate folks, I'm going to say, I do need you to actually come forwards. Now, this one has been free, but intermediate and advanced, there will be a small charge for joining those ones, okay? So, because we have to be committed. It's more that value than anything else, all right? So, there's all sorts of goodies. It's not something that's going to be extortionate. It's not something that is awful. But I feel by putting a price on it, that people will actually value that they have paid and that they are committed to completing the intermediate course. Okay, so we've got to have one more just. So, 8 of Swords. Okay, look at her, she's all tied up. That doesn't look great, does that? There she is, all bound with these ropes and these ribbons and the blindfold and the swamp and the swords behind her and grey behind her. Not much that's exciting there. But if you look again, what about using those swords to actually break the binds that tie her? So by very carefully stepping one way or the other, and there's enough of them there to find one without hurting yourself, very carefully to negotiate how to be agile enough to use the sword to cut the bind, and then she can take the blindfold off, and then she won't end up in the water or the swamp. And then she is able to start walking back towards a castle in the background. And if you look even further, you'll see some greenery going on there. So that represents growth and the abundance of the universe taking care, unconditional love and support from the universe. Green is always, we are loved by the universe and we're getting that support. So it can be that we are feeling totally restricted. So as I said, initially you look at this and it's like, oh, that's awful. Yeah, but it's all about solutions, isn't it? Navigating obstacles. You're all tied up. You're a victim of your own circumstances here. Okay. When we go back to the lesson where we did Two of Swords, you know, that blindfold, the person's sort of sitting there, blindfold on, two swords going across that card. That's somebody choosing not to see. Oh, I don't want to. Stay away from me. I've got my swords on, I'll whack you on. Protecting myself, but I don't know what I'm doing because I've got the blindfold on. So I might hurt somebody I love and care about. And, there's all this nonsense going on. Well, if you sit there with the blindfold on like the Two of Swords and sit there just waving these swords willy-nilly because you can't even see what you're doing because you've got a blindfold on, this is where you could end up, where the energy is just built up. It's the victim of being your own circumstances. I chose to do nothing. I just sat there and I was scared. I didn't want to do anything. Oh, it's built up there. You could have done something and now you've got to this point. So there is a connection with the Two of Swords saying, if you choose not to look and see, things will become, much more difficult. As I said, again, there's always a solution. Depends how your mind's working. Is your glass half full or is your glass half empty? So this really is saying that you can have caused this yourself. It's a bit like, I've got a really busy day. Well, why did you book so much in? That's me. Always, I can do this, and this. And then it's like, oh, poor me, what have I done? And it's like, sometimes we have to go, that's over-ambitious. That's going to cause me to feel frustrated. It's going to cause me to say, I can't socialise or come along and do the lovely things because I've restricted myself. Do you see what this card is about? It's not about others doing it to you, okay? Unless it comes up in the influence of others. So it's very easy to go, oh, this person's a baddie and this and that and the other. Who are you reading for? This is where the next stage comes in, and this is where the art of putting things together so that you're going to have what people call fluffy, fairy readers, very positive readers. Everything's positive if you choose to view it that way, even if you are brought down to a difficult situation. Everything has a completion and ending. Everything's horrible. We're all born, we all die. So there's always a beginning, there's always an end. And in life there are struggles, and there are victories, and there's happiness. And so what we have to look at is, if you don't want to be a victim, you have to take accountability for how you can steer your own life going forwards so that you feel in control. If you hand that control over to someone else, but go, I'm in bondage here, this person won't let me. Well, whose fault is that? You have to take accountability. That's what the Eight of Swords is about. That's what this card is saying. It's not me talking, that's what this card means. You're the victim of your own circumstances. You did this to yourself, sort of thing. And if you're looking at it as in, this is applying to somebody you've asked about, why are they not coping at the moment? Choosing not to. Or they've got a choice, they can. Oh, I can't do that. I'll forget them. But I've got to shut up, as it were. That's that kind of card, okay? So things should have been dealt with more quickly. Choosing not to see things is where you can end up. This also can be a custodial sentence in a legal reading where somebody's incarcerated, okay? So, sorry about dogs. It's where the energy is becoming much worse and building, But as I said, look at the solution. Couldn't be easier. You need to untie yourself. Well, how many swords do you need as help? Oh, but I could hurt myself. Do you see what I mean about being a victim? Well, go carefully. Think it through. Go slowly. But don't do nothing. Otherwise, things will get worse. And, you probably will end up walking into that swamp. And then down you go and the swords buff you and you kind of drown. It's how it is. So sorry we've left it on a little bit of a negative. I warned you the swords can be tricky, but remember, it is nothing physical in the swords. It's all to do with this. So it's not that somebody's really doing this to you, it's how it affects your mind and how you think and view reality, or how the other person is, and whether or not you're banging your head against a brick wall because this card keeps coming up over and over for you or for the person that you want to be with. Until next time, I'm so sorry about the comments not working. It was a software update from the provider of how this all knits together, and unfortunately it just didn't like the upload last night, and I couldn't get the cameras last night, got everything working, and then here we are, we've ended up with this thing today, which is I can't get your comments, which is a real shame. But, you know, let me know, give me some feedback here. It's lovely to know how you're getting on and whether or not you are interested in going forwards with the intermediate or the advanced. Indeed, the advanced is amazing. That'll be giving you, the real nitty gritty that, quite frankly, I've never seen anyone kind of do the spread like my teacher Jackie did all those years ago. And I wrote everything down, recorded everything, went over it. I built platforms myself on that, and I used it. So because it's my profession and I do it every single day, it's become part of who I am. And I've been teaching it, probably last 10 years, maybe longer. Bernadette, I think, was one of my first, and that goes back to about, 14, 15 years ago. All right, so happy learning. Hope you enjoyed this today. Please leave me your comments and do message me. Let me know if you're interested. It's a reasonable cost as in for intermediate, and it is about being committed. And let me know whether you are somebody that would like to be a student where you are learning how to do this and put it all together, because we are getting through it now. We've got the cups, we've got the wands and the pentacles. So only another few weeks before this one finishes, and what we're going to do going forwards depends on you. I haven't got anybody, we won't do it, okay? But it would be lovely to share that with you, because that is the art. I could have come straight in with an intermediate offer to do things, but then people would say, well, I didn't think that card meant that, and I was told this, and I was told that. If we've all got the same keynotes, we can all sing from the same hymn sheet. I love the fact that you don't think this and you don't think that. That's great. That's not relevant when we all want to actually weave something together so it works. So then you can add on all those bits that you already know. I'm not asking you to ignore it, I'm asking you to put it to one side so that we can all speak the same language and get the picture built up for how it is to help you to read tarot. Until next time, bye-bye. Thank you for your time today. And sorry about the comments not working. Please like and share this, and please subscribe to the YouTube channel and watch things, because honestly, the more you do that, the more I can continue making for you. It's having the time. And unless I've got your subscriptions up and it's monetized, I can only do little bits. Until it's actually monetized, then, we can have a field day and I can give you all sorts of content. But for now, it's restricted to the fact that I've got to do it in between my work, and it's not easy. Okay, so leave your comments below, and I'll see you next week. Bye. By the way, don't forget, I do come live, so if you want readings, you can have mini readings with me. And if you are new and you are going to subscribe, you can let me know your subscription number and have a free reading. It's a shorter reading, of course, just a snapshot. So that's there, and I'm available for full readings all the time, folks. So please do remember, go into the link and you can book with me, 20 minutes, half an hour, whatever you want, okay? The minimum is 20 minutes for a personal read, okay? So see you then. Bye.